Habakkuk 2:2 says, Then the Lord answered me and said, Write down the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. Proverbs 29:18 says, Where there is no vision, where there is no revelation, people cast off restraints. It's important practical nuggets that we always must remember. And one of the things is if you're going to have a plan and have a vision, is that you consult God concerning the plan. You know, if I have any questions on my automobile, I go to the owner's manual, because those are the people who built the car. So if anybody else should know how that car is to run, it should be the people who created it or the people who built it. And it amazes me how many times we attempt to find our way throughout life and don't consult God or leave God as our second choice or third choice. Listen, if you want to give your children vision, or if you even want to have vision for yourself, it's important that we consult God's plan. But then not only that, but it's important that once you get the plan, that you write it down. People of God, there are so many visions that are on Zero Street and is in the cemetery now because people died, took their visions to the graveyard. And a lot of times that's because we don't write things down. In Habakkuk 2:2, when it says, write down the vision and make it plain on tablets so that one who reads it will run with it. But it's not just for that person, it's also to remind us. Because many times we fall in love with the dream, but we forget that there's a process. And many times, even for myself, when we go through the process, that's when, because we're not used to a process, we fall off. You know, in my young career, I've been now preaching for over 20 years. And one of the things my pastor taught me early in my career, or in this preaching that I'm doing, he says, if you're not able to clearly write down your sermon so that you'll understand it, then I can guarantee you, son, that the people who you're talking with won't understand it. So write it down so that when you do have those trials, when you do have those tribulations, when you do have the things that happens in life to where it doesn't look like your vision is coming to pass, because you wrote it down and because you know that God is the one that gave the vision to you, because you know that, and you've written it down, you won't depart from it. But then not only we need to write it down, not only we need to go before God, but make sure you have the right personnel on your team. Everyone is not going to join you, but don't get discouraged when all don't follow you. Everyone is not supposed to agree with you. Do you know, many people don't know this, but even for the I Have a Dream speech, it wouldn't even been called that if Maya Angelou wouldn't have yelled out during the speech, tell him about the dream. Sometimes even when we write down all we know, when we perfect what we know, we still need others who's close enough to us, physically that is, to remind us what it is God has called us to do. And then finally, in this game plan, embrace the process and not the dream. You know, Darrell Andrews and Pierre Campbell says that we fall in love with the dream and not the process. And a lot of times, if you remember and you think about the things that may have caused some of your plans not to come to action, to fruition rather, and a lot of times it's because in the process, we have things that happen that will pull us off of what God told us that was ours. But in spite of all of this, we must stay the course and embrace the process and not just the dream. I want you to know that God has called each of you for a purpose. So let's get a game plan. Let's remember to consult God about the plan. Then write that vision down. Have the right personnel on your team and embrace the process and not the dream.